Next email comes from Heather. Hey, Bandrew, how are you? There was recently an internet apocalypse for about 10 hours. Mobile data was still working, though I've mentioned that coverage can be spotty here in parts of New Zealand, and let's say mobile tethering wasn't offering a strong connection for other devices. So I was just wondering how long you've been without internet before due to an outage or technical glitches. What have you done in those instances, or what would you do? How would you survive an internet outage for a day, a week, or a total internet apocalypse? Forever! How long could you last without it? Thank you for your time, Heather. Heather, thank you very much for the terror-inducing email. God, that is freaking me out. The panic is starting to set in. For anyone who doesn't know, Heather is the host of Sunshine and Power Cuts, an amazing podcast about off-the-grid living and well-being. You should check it out. You can find it at sunshineandpowercuts.com or geeksrising.com. That name sounds familiar. It's almost like that's where you can find this podcast, geeksrising.com. Check out Sunshine and Power Cuts. To the question, I believe the longest that I have gone without the internet is maybe 6 to 10 hours due to an outage. The worst part was that I was working from home that day, and it made it impossible to get any kind of work done, which drove me insane. I ended up having to take a vacation day because I couldn't get any work done, and I can't just charge time for not doing any work. That's not, you can't do that. So I ended up burning a vacation day, sitting there and checking the internet. Is it back up yet? Is it back up yet? Freaking out. It was awful. But as far as surviving an internet outage, let me go ahead and walk you through my thought process in the order that I thought of them. YouTube. That's obviously the first thing that came to mind. I've spent years building podcastage, and an internet outage would just kill that overnight. There's nothing I could do about that. It would be inevitable because people consume that on the internet. If there's no internet, you can't get podcastage. Luckily, on my computers, I still have all the final reviews that I have done, all the videos that I have done regarding microphones and audio gear. What I would do is go ahead and pick 10 or 15 of my best reviews, burn those to a DVD, find the addresses for all these tech magazines, write them with a cover letter, the DVD, and say, will you please let me write for you and be your audio tech journalist, please and thank you? And try to find a way to continue to review audio gear in a way that would be beneficial. I don't know how I would do that because I would be losing the entire ability to actually demonstrate the audio that I am reviewing. So it would be a huge setback in my opinion. Maybe burn CDs with the audio files, the review audio files, and send those to people. Maybe make a DVD set of all my microphone reviews and let people buy them. That's a way to do it. Mail order podcastage review. There you go. That's something that I thought about, but it would be awful. It would be awful. The next thing that came to mind was communication, and this would be a huge, huge loss for me because a lot of the people that I interact with, I only interact with them online. I would lose all contact with them, assuming that I don't have their phone numbers or their snail mail addresses. I would lose all of that. It would kind of force me to get out of my comfort zone and go make friends with people locally and risk becoming friends with somebody who doesn't like audio gear. What a nightmare. That would be the worst. I would probably end up just spending a lot of time at Guitar Center, like you did when you were a teenager and you couldn't afford anything, so you would just go sit at Guitar Center for hours and annoy all the employees because they know you don't have money to buy a freaking guitar pick as opposed to a guitar. You're wasting their time and you're being noise pollution. That's what I would become at my age. I wouldn't mind texting or phone calls or snail mail or anything, but the loss of communications with all the people, all the friends that I have developed online they have the exact same interests as me, that would bum me out for months, if not years, if not for the rest of my life, knowing that I don't have that same group of friends that love audio as much as me. That would suck. As far as entertainment, this wouldn't affect me at all. I wouldn't be too concerned since I have started collecting way too much physical media. In the past, I have had internet outages or I have watched YouTube videos and it would just buffer every 5 seconds to the point where I rage quit and think, well, now I don't have anything to watch or anything to listen to. But now that I've acquired enough DVDs and Blu-rays and CDs, I can actually listen to stuff and watch stuff if the internet were to go down, if my internet connection was just too bad, or if the licenses for these albums or movies was revoked by iTunes or Netflix or anything. I'm set in regards to entertainment, and I got plenty of books, and I got my Kindle thing all set up with all the books downloaded, all the audiobooks. I am golden as far as entertainment. Then Amazon. This one would suck. This is a horrifying prospect. The idea of not having next day delivery or 2-day delivery, or I'm sorry, New Zealand, maybe 2-week delivery. I'm sorry, that has to suck. I use Amazon way, way, way too much. I use it way too much. And I look for movies. I look for CDs that are hard to find. I look for weird audio cables, weird microphones that Guitar Center, that's really my only audio store here, would sell. I rely a lot on Amazon, and it would be crushing to close that, to lose that. I would have to go to Target to buy essentials, and I'd have to go to Best Buy and Guitar Center and say, will you please special order me this cable that will take a month and a half to get here? It would suck. It would be an absolute nightmare, and I would hate it. But it's something that we would have to live with, and we'd start to get those local stores coming up again. Mom and pop shops coming up, and maybe I could start an audio store. That's what I'll do. I'll start an audio store, and I'll order all the cables, and I'll have it on stock. There you go. An audio store and a physical media store. I'm going to become very wealthy in this. How long could I live without it? Without the internet? I don't know. I like to think that I would be fine forever. It would just take a while to acclimate to the new landscape, but it would be a very long adjustment period, to say the least. There have been times where I lose internet for 5 minutes, and it's so embarrassing to admit this, but I turn into a child having a damn temper tantrum. It is an embarrassing and disgusting and pathetic thing to behold. It's the worst. So if that occurs with 5 minutes of internet outage or slow internet or a web page not loading, what would 5 years look like? I don't want to see what I would look like in 5 years. It would be pathetic. But that was an amazing, amazing question and thought experiment to go through. How long could I live without the internet? What would happen if I lost the internet? And what would you do if the internet disappeared forever? That's a question I want to pose to everybody listening to this. I want you to answer this. Send in an audio, send in a video, send in a comment on YouTube, send it in on Twitter, send in an email. Let me know, what would you do if the internet disappeared forever? And how long could you live without the internet? Great question, Heather. Appreciate you. Again, sunshine and power cuts.